Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, to most Muslims, the Saudi tribe, which have imposed themselves on the Arabian Peninsula, are viewed as a band of criminals. However, there are some people that actually believe that these criminals are the champions of Islam. These people, who are actually blind followers, ignore Islamic text, they ignore Islamic history, they even ignore their own senses and their own good judgment. They are deaf to what we hear, they are dumb to what we understand, and they are blind to what we see. What do I mean by this? Let's take a look. Now, to most people, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia has done things which only a few years ago would have seemed impossible. So he has relaxed the rule of women wearing the abaya in public, he's changed the visa rules, so now non-Muslims can wander around the haram. And you may have seen some TikTok videos from the Prophet's Masjid by non-Muslims who are freely walking around there, unmarried couple. He's allowed women to travel without mahrams. We've seen all sorts of changes taking place in the recent past. We've seen raves, we've seen concerts, we've seen public celebration, quote unquote, of Halloween. There's even been bikini beaches, and this is something I addressed in a video a couple of years ago, and you can see a link over here. You can click on that and watch that later. These are some of the many changes which have come in Saudi in the recent past. So obviously there's been some reluctance to this and some opposition to this, and these people have been rounded up and thrown away in prison. Those are the lucky ones, because there are others who were less fortunate, like Jamal Khashoggi. He went into a Saudi embassy and never came out. However, those outside have to deal with the unofficial defenders of the Saudi state, and there's many of them, but I'm going to show you one particular chap who goes out of his way to defend the indefensible. Some of you who are as old as me might remember Comical Ali, a character Saddam put up on media to defend and present Iraq. Even though Iraq was being bombarded and invaded, he used to carry on as if nothing was wrong.
There is no any trace, no any existence to the American troops or British troops in Baghdad at all. At all.
We crushed the forces in Saddam International Airport. And
these guys are doing a similar thing today in trying to defend the indefensible of what is going on in Saudi Arabia. So have a watch of this clip.
So my question is, what is your opinion on the sheikhs locked up in Saudi, and especially one of them called Sheikh Khalid al-Rashad?
Listen to me. These questions are way above your pay grade. People, you don't know them. People you've never met in your life. People you've never had an idea of what crimes they may have committed. How dare you speak without knowledge? Oh, Sheikh, they're good scholars, they're beneficial. Have you met them? No. But I heard in a YouTube blogger saying so and so.
So here, Brother Asim rebukes the questioner for asking an innocent question about people being arrested in Saudi Arabia. And the response is quite remarkable. First of all, claiming that you don't know who these people are. You don't know what crimes they've committed. The fact that Brother Asim doesn't know the questioner doesn't stop him from insulting him, assuming that the caller's ignorant, and assuming he's not at the right pay grade to ask a question. Do you need to be on a particular pay grade to ask questions? Note, the questioner didn't criticize the government, he just asked a question. So here, Saudi's unofficial Comical Ali goes into the default position of defending the state, regardless of the facts, regardless of the charges. And Brother Asim has actually got a history of defending the indefensible. So not long ago, a billionaire Saudi who was dating an American pop star, Rihanna, I think her name was, and the pictures were taken by paparazzi and they were all over the media. And somebody asked Brother Asim about this billionaire Saudi. I don't think it was linked to the Saudi family, but even he was defended by Asim. Here again, he was defending the indefensible. And look at the tweet that he responded by. So now listen to what else he had to say to the questioner on this particular video.
Is it that you have beef against a country that calls people to Tawheed, that teaches Islam, that spreads the da'wah all over, that implements Sharia?
So when the Saudi state permits Halloween parties, raves, bikini beaches, rock concerts, pop concerts and all sorts of stuff, and spending billions and billions of the Ummah's money on buying football players, according to Brother Asim, This is not incompatible or contradictory to him claiming that Saudi Arabia is a champion of Islam and implementing Tawheed. The Saudi state is a tribal state, and this is forbidden by Islam. The ruling system is monarchical. This is forbidden by Islam. They lend money with interest. This is clearly forbidden by Islam. This is a war against Allah. But to these people, they will still defend this state. So they will continue to defend this state regardless of the facts and regardless of the proof and evidences which is presented to you. So according to Brother Asim's logic, if you criticize the Saudi state, then you must be by definition a grave worshipper and also a deviant Khawarij Muslim.
And the haters will always be haters. Have they said anything about the Rafidah, if Shia, the Qadianis, the Baha'is, those deviant Sufis, those who worship idols and graves? Nothing. They have a clear check of endorsement of their actions.
The irony is, people like Brother Asim spend their time criticizing other Muslims as being deviants or Khawarij or whatever, picking holes in them, criticizing, but not once in the entire history have they ever held to account the Saudi government. And they ignore the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he was asked, what is the best jihad or which is the best jihad? And he says, kalimatu haqqan inda sultanin ja'ir, speaking a word of truth to a tyrant ruler. So they ignore that. They ignore the incidents in our Islamic history of Hussein radiallahu an and Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu an rejecting the forced bay'ah that Yazid had taken. So they opposed that and they rejected him as a legitimate ruler. The Saudi rulers don't even have a bay'ah based on ruling by Kitab and Sunnah. So they are not even valid rulers. They ignore the hadith, they ignore the history, and they ignore their own senses when they can see with their own eyes what is going on in the world. You cannot feign ignorance of what is going on. And we know the history of Saudi Arabia. It's got nothing to do with Islam. It was created by the British, and these criminals were imposed in that land due to the support they gave in destroying the Islamic Khilafah. So today they're talking about not rebelling against their ruler. This tribal state in Arabia is based on rebelling against the legitimate ruler of the entire Muslim world. And they destroyed that unity of the Muslim world. And they have a cheek today to say you can't stand up and speak against rulers. They try to apply the rule of obedience to the ruler to an illegitimate ruler. Just like trying to apply the rules of a woman being obedient to her husband and applying that to a gay marriage where both the couple are men. It's not a valid marriage. You can't apply the rules of a wife in a gay marriage. You can't apply the rules of obedience to a ruler to an illegitimate ruler. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.